who do you think Paul Heyman has the best dynamic with between Roman Reigns, CM Punk, or Brock Lesnar?
Ooh, that's a
Oh,
good
that's
question.
hard. Oh my, because all of them are all different though. I'm gonna go Roman as he's the wise. I think the wise man is like his one of his best.
I do agree.
Okay.
That Roman is my favorite. I loved him and Punk.
Right.
Him and Brock just seem like soulmates. But
Right.
just there's an added element of his ability to kind of express emotion with just facial expressions. He doesn't have to say as much
And
with
remember
Roman.
him going to
That
go
makes
get
it so
Roman too.
different.
Like he had to convince Roman about this. Like he went and got Roman. The other guys really didn't have to like go to him per se. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Josh, what about you? Who do you think he has the best dynamic with? Heyman.
I probably would say Roman, just because of Paul Heyman. I do believe Roman kind of got out of his shell. If that makes any type of sense, right? I think Roman, there was always an ability of Roman. Like if you was to give him a chance, I think he could do great things. And I think there was even the whole period of the big dog period, which a lot of people were not in favor of. There was times where he's not reading script promos. He was actually pretty good. He was convincing when he talked. It's when you gave him scripts, you gave him stuff to remember. That's where he struggled with. When it came to Paul Heyman, I feel like the dynamic not only on screen, but I felt like him learning from Paul, or like just being like calmer, being looser. That's brought another element to things, right? And I think
And he
those
didn't even care
things.
about what everyone else thought. Like
Yeah, so
nobody else
like
was good with everything.
with
But
him and Punk, I thought Punk was solid. The only thing I just didn't feel like it was like long enough for me to like really harbor to say like, oh yeah, this is like better than Brock. I think like if I was to rank it, it's Roman, Brock, and Punk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's how I would do it, just because like I think him and Punk are pretty solid, but I just think we didn't get really enough of it. And by the time that we did, what happened. Like, Punk wasn't the biggest star, and then he ended up leaving. So it's one of those things where, it wasn't bad. I just felt like we could have gotten more out of it. We just didn't get enough of it. And now obviously with him and Brock, I mean that just seems like the safest bet if somebody was to say, oh, him and Brock. It's a different dynamic because Brock didn't do a lot of talking when it came to Paul. Paul was the one that was doing a lot of the talking. When Brock did do talking, I think Brock got better during the later years, like the last recent years, because Brock just seemed more loose. Again, same situation where Brock seemed looser. He seemed more like himself. Like he didn't just feel like, oh, just go out there, be dominant, don't say nothing. Because when we got that period where he was, when he conquered the Undertaker, Brock didn't really talk at all. It was mostly Paul Heyman. So that was a different kind of dynamic. That worked because Paul Heyman was doing the talking. Paul Heyman was doing the job of a manager. What we kind of expect from managers, when managers could talk, they speak for the heel. They speak for the person who can't talk. So that was a little bit. I think that's why it's very different. And then when it comes to the dynamic between him and Roman, it's a lot different because Roman held his own once he got with Paul. Like his talking gotten so much better, gotten more comfortable. And then Paul, like you kind of saw more of the characteristics of Paul when it came to Roman. Like every time he was scared, or like being a kiss ass, or like just sounding like a little bitch. Like, yes, my tribal chief, I'll do anything for you. Like you saw more of that with Roman. So I think, yeah, I would go with Roman.
So we're all in agreement there.